The spiritual journey isn't what you think. It's usually not a single moment of awakening, but as a progression through 3 distinct phases. 3 phases that every person moves through, whether they realize it or not. And at the center of all 3 is the ego. Not as something you need to destroy, but as something you need to transcend. Because enlightenment is not about becoming something new, it's about seeing clearly what was never true to begin with. So this process unfolds in 3 phases: unconsciousness, semi-consciousness, and full consciousness. Each phase has its own logic, its own challenges, and its own breakthroughs. And if you understand them, you can locate yourself on the path and move through it with clarity. The first phase is unconsciousness, and this is where most of humanity lives. It's the state where you are completely identified with your mind. There's only one version of you, but you believe that the voice in your head is you. Every thought feels true, every emotion feels like reality, and every belief feels like certainty. You are not aware of your mind, you are inside it. There's no separation between you and your thinking, which means there's no space for awareness. You don't question your thoughts because you assume they are you. This phase often gets disguised as certainty, especially in spiritual or religious contexts. Belief can create a powerful sense of grounding, but when it becomes rigid, it turns into attachment. And that attachment becomes an anchor for the ego. It gives you the illusion that you know, and that illusion prevents you from seeking beyond your mind. This is why someone can be deeply religious and still be unconscious, because they are attached to belief rather than open to truth. There's a story that captures this perfectly. A man devoted his life to God and asked the Buddha, "Is there a God?" The Buddha said, "No." Later, an atheist asked the same question, and the Buddha said, "Yes." He gave conflicting answers, but the answer wasn't about the question, it was about the attachment. The believer needed to release the attachment to belief. The atheist needed to release the attachment to disbelief. Both were identified with the mind, and therefore both were unconscious. Unconsciousness doesn't end gradually, it ends with a realization. At some point, you begin to notice something subtle but profound. There is the voice in your head, and there's something aware of that voice, something watching, something listening. And in that moment, you realize you are not the voice. You are the awareness behind it. That realization creates separation between you and your mind. That's what we call a spiritual awakening. It's not the end of the journey, it's the beginning. It's the moment where you step out of total identification with the mind and into awareness. For the first time, you are no longer fully unconscious. The second phase is semi-consciousness, and this is the most complex and difficult stage. It's the in-between state where you are no longer fully asleep, but you're not yet fully free. The defining characteristic of this phase is that there are now 2 versions of you. There's you, the awareness, and there's your ego, the conditioned patterns of the mind. So you can observe your thoughts, you can notice your reactions, you can feel when something isn't aligned, and you experience moments of presence when there is no suffering. But then you fall back into identification. You get triggered, you react, and you become the pattern again. And it's only afterward do you realize that you lost your awareness in the process. This phase is marked by a repeating cycle. You move in and out of awareness. You have clarity, then confusion, presence, then reaction. You wake up, and then you fall back asleep. This back and forth can feel very frustrating, but it's a necessary part of the process. It's how awareness deepens. Each time you wake up again, you see more clearly than before. But this also creates suffering, because now you can see what's happening, and yet you still feel pulled into it. You are no longer fully identified, but you're not yet free from the pull of the mind. That tension is what defines this phase. As awareness grows, you begin to see more than just thoughts. You start to see the deeper structures underneath them. Your wounds, your fears, your unconscious patterns, and your protective mechanisms all become visible. You begin to understand how they have been running your entire life. You see how you've been seeking validation, avoiding rejection, protecting yourself from pain, and repeating the same relational dynamics over and over again. And that realization is confronting. You see that these patterns didn't just appear. They've been there all along. You just didn't have the awareness to see them. This is where the real work begins. You are not only breaking your attachment to the voice in your head, you're breaking your attachment to the patterns that define your very identity. The ways you cope, the ways you protect yourself, the ways you navigate the world. These patterns once served you. They helped you survive. But now, they're limiting you. Letting them go feels like losing a part of yourself. It creates resistance, fear, and sometimes even grief. This is why many people feel stuck in this phase. It's not just about awareness, it's about transformation, which isn't always easy. At times, you may long for unconsciousness again. Ignorance felt easier in a way. Certainty felt safe. There was comfort in not seeing. But once awareness has emerged, there is no going back. You cannot unsee what you have seen. This creates a kind of pressure, a push towards growth. The discomfort you feel is not a mistake. It is the mechanism that moves you forward. This is the only phase that requires true transcendence. The third phase is full consciousness, and this is where awareness becomes stable. You're no longer constantly pulled back into identification, not because the mind or the ego disappears, but because you no longer mistake it for who you are. You remain grounded in awareness even as thoughts arise. The voice in your head is still there, but it is clearly seen as just that, a voice. This marks a return to a singular self. But unlike phase one, where you were identified with the mind, here you are identified with your being, your spirit, your soul. In this phase, a deeper realization occurs. You begin to see that ego itself was never real in the way you believed. It was a kind of spiritual sleight of hand. In the beginning, you blamed other people and life for your suffering. Then as awareness grew, you needed something internal to point to. So you created the concept of ego. My ego is doing this. My ego is the problem. This served a purpose. It allowed you to observe your behavior without being overwhelmed by shame. It gave you distance, gave you space to see the truth. But eventually, even that construct falls away because you realize that it was you all along. You were the one choosing, reacting, and protecting yourself. Ego was not an entity. It was a tool, a temporary structure that allowed you to face yourself in stages. You see that you were protecting yourself from truths you were not ready to see. Truths about your patterns, your fears, and your role in your own suffering. And now you no longer need to deflect responsibility. You can take full ownership, not from a place of shame or guilt, but clarity and acceptance. From this vantage point, ego appears to disappear. But in reality, it was never real to begin with. In the same way that ghosts are only real for those who believe in them, ego is only real for those who misidentify the voice in their head as who they are. In the same way that you outgrow the need for an imaginary friend, you spiritually outgrow the need for your imaginary protector. Once you see the illusion of ego clearly, there is no ego. You have transcended it. The mind is no longer your saboteur. It becomes a tool, a co-creator, something you can use rather than something that controls you. The final realization of enlightenment is that there is no ego. It was just you in there, telling stories, holding on to pain as a protection, and clinging to an image of yourself that was never real. And just on the other side of the illusion, you finally found freedom. Thanks for watching this video today. If you get value from my content, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I don't want you to miss future conversations about awareness and emotional freedom and enlightenment. And if you really want to go deeper into the work, head over to my website at keithcrossley.com. I've got additional teachings and resources and coaching options, all designed to help you attain the highest levels of mental and emotional freedom. I really appreciate you being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.